All right, we're gonna do a little video on our roof. You're gonna love this one. This one takes the cake. So I got a call for a leak. They got a leak on the roof. So I get up here. It's a pretty new roof. And you know, when I get a call for a roof leak, I come and start inspecting. They didn't know how to run this, so they just got their starter shingle showing and just kept the line running. They don't know how to do a transition. And this is relevant to what I'm going to get to later on different parts of the roof. You're going to love this video. So it's got a leak right here. That section that's leaking right there. Pretty. Never really seen a leak there, even though I've seen them done wrong a lot. But with the hard rains we're getting. So this, I was showing a guy that worked for me. This is the correct way to do this. That is incorrect. These shingles need to go under the bottom. This shingle is under the bottom. So I was showing him this, and then I realized, look at this. They gotta, can I get in there and show you? Right there's the top of the boot. Water's coming right in here, going right underneath the boot. That's not correct. And then there's a low nail and full on retarded stuff. So you're supposed to line the shingle up with the corner as you're running your shingles across. They didn't do that. So it gets better. So it's gonna get real good. So the cap, they ran the cap, it's pretty much flat right here, almost inverted. You can see the belly in it where water's gonna sit right there and go in the house. So we're putting Meneridge on, and then just tar it. So it's gonna get good at the end of this, so stay tuned. More vents that were done wrong. That shingle needs, water flows over the top. It's just going in here and going underneath these shingles and underneath everything. That one's done right, no problems. Done wrong. At some point they put this board in there, which it's got an overhang, so it's not a big deal. But surprisingly, they ran their flashing on the outside of the wood like it's supposed to be. But you see this piece right here? It's called a Z-bar. That goes in the top of this wood. So water comes down, can't go in there. They just caulked it. It's got a really deep overhang, so that's kind of almost irrelevant, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. The wood must have been rotted or something. They cut that in because this side's done like that, which is fine. Either way, but they didn't put the Z-bar in. They caulked it. Another person doesn't know what they're doing. And so wait, we're getting to some good stuff now. We're gonna get to some really good stuff. Look at so it's got 42,000 skylights. And when in doubt, tar it out. We're just gonna tar it out. So the other thing I was gonna show you before we get to the really good stuff, you gotta wait for the good stuff. We gotta do the good stuff at the end. So I was going to show you this, where, you know, I'm looking over the roof, and boom, what do we got right here? Freaking nail right in the seam. I hired a guy that was taught to shingle that way. Nail popping through right here. We're just going around and fixing all this stuff. It's a relatively new roof. There's not nails. You can see these seams really big time. So there's not nails in all the seams. We're just trying to find the ones we can find. But here's the good stuff. This is the really funny stuff. So we got gutters on this house. This ain't really part of the roof, but there's gutters. See the gutter? Runs down the roof. And like it's supposed to. And then they had this cut right here. We put flashing in there because it was just running in this cut, and there's metal under there now. Pretty much every roof is done wrong right there at the bottom of a valley. That's pretty normal. So I fixed both of the valleys, but look at this gutter. on this side. It's got a downspout on it too, and then no gutter. Like they just put a 1 foot piece of gutter right there. Let me get back. And then, so then it goes. This is going to keep getting better. Hang on. And then that gutter right there, we're just going to cut it off right there. There's a downspout over there. Oh, never mind. We don't need to end cap it or continue it over. And then no gutter. This was done the same way wrong, so we put a piece of metal in there so to extend it out. But look at this. There's the front. Remember the front when I showed you how they did that transition where it steps up and they didn't know how to do it? See the gutter? Watch this. They come down here. They run their shingles up. And oh, it doesn't line up. They shingled right over the top of the gutter. This is, underneath here's the gutter. It's shingled right over the top of the gutter. See the gutter down there, how you can see it? They shingled right over the top of it. But the only thing you got to do in roofing is a good job cleaning up. And then they'll be like, oh, they did a good job. And what's crazy about this is a company that's really well known around the area that does a lot of roofs did this job. And it's like, and I already know that what their work's like, and you can't believe it, really. But that's what kind of stuff I see daily on roofs. You know, it's got 100 skylights, and when in doubt, caulk it out. Just get a bucket of tar. And I'll tell you, tarring something like that's not necessarily a bad thing if you do it the right way. You do tar, and then there's a roll of mesh you get, and it's like building a shingle, so to speak, and it works really good. But you do the tar, and then you roll the mesh out, then you tar it again, and then you put granules on it, and it will last forever. But I use metal. I know companies that do it that way, and it does last. I've been on their roofs, 30, 40 years later, and it still holds. So, but that's the kind of stuff you see where an inspector got up here and inspected this roof, and clueless. But it's practically new, so we're gonna put some money into it and fix it up. But that's the kind of stuff you see in the roofing business daily. That's how bad it is out there. Well, might as well get a picture of my office view today. There you go. I got the ladder on the car. Chances are you'll go far because I don't have to stop at the gas station. But that's it. I'm just rambling on now. But it's pretty bad out here in the construction industry. I'm surprised your roof ain't leaking right now and it ain't even raining. Peace out.